Okay, friends, so we are going to be talking about safety. What are some ways you can be safe? I'm going to talk about how we can be safe and what are some ways that we can be safe when we're outside riding our bikes or our scooters or we're running. Sometimes we tell you guys not to run inside the classroom. Is there a reason why we tell you guys not to run in the classroom? Because you can fall down and hurt yourselves. We'd rather you run outside, okay? So this book is going to tell us all about being safe, all right? Always be safe. Sit using scissors or you might get hurt. Why do you think we say this? Sit down with scissors. Yeah, because scissors are not for us to be walking around with. We need to use the scissors at the table only. And it's very important that we do that. We need to follow the rules, okay? And it says, use scissors at the table because you might get hurt. Scissors can be sharp, as you can see. And we don't want you to hurt yourself with scissors. Okay? Perfect. Wash before eating or you might eat dirt. You know, sometimes when we go to the store and we get fruits and vegetables, they're out. We need to make sure we wash them because if we don't wash them, we'll get dirt that's trapped on top of the fruits and the vegetables. So it's very important to wash your fruits and vegetables, and it's also important to wash your hands with water and soap, okay? You see how she's washing her hands with water and soap? It's very important. Ask before taking or you might get sick. If you want something, you need to ask for it. Say, Mommy, can I have a piece of fruit? Or if somebody gives you something, you need to say, is it okay for me to have that? So you need to find out from Mommy and Daddy if it's safe for you to eat something. Okay, so you need to ask for permission because you can get sick off of things you don't know what you're eating, okay? Check before touching or you might stick. So look at this picture right here. Right here it says wet paint. You got to be careful. Sometimes when you sit on something, it might still be wet and you might not know. So it's very important to check for that as well. We don't want to get paint on our clothes, right? Stay with the grown-up or you might get lost. This is very important. When you go somewhere with Mommy and Daddy, you need to hold their hand. You need to make sure you're close to them at all times because we don't want to get lost. We want to make sure that we're safe. And our mommies and daddies and our teachers keep us safe when we stay close to them. We don't wander off. We stay where we need to be, okay? Sit in your chair right or you might get tossed or you might fall down. If I don't sit properly in this chair that I'm sitting on, I'm going to fall down. I'm going to hurt myself. I might hurt my knees. So it's very important to sit on your chair or you're going to hurt your head or however you're sitting on the chair, you need to sit properly up straight, okay? Hold on when climbing or you might fall. You see how this girl is climbing the tree? She needs to hold on with both hands. We don't just climb a tree with one hand. If you're going to climb a tree like this, you need to be safe. And you need to make sure that your moms and dads are around. Because I know some friends climb trees. So if you are climbing trees, make sure you're being safe and make sure that your mommy and daddy or teacher know where you are, how are you doing it, and you need to make sure you're using both hands. Okay? Zip up your coat or you might catch a cold. You know, sometimes we tell you guys before you guys go outside, put on a jacket because it's cold outside. Or bring your jacket with you because sometimes it gets a little chilly outside. So when mommies and daddies and teachers tell you guys to put on your jackets or bring your jacket or zip it up, you need to listen because we don't want you to get cold. Yeah, or we don't want you to get sick as well. Ask before petting or you might get nipped. So you see how she is patting the dog? You need to ask for permission because sometimes dogs don't like you touching them. They like their own space. We talk about personal space sometimes. When you're too close to somebody, you need to give them some space. So you need to ask for permission before you touch somebody's dog because you don't want the dog to bite your hand. Because the dog doesn't know you know, so you need to be careful not to touch a dog. Say, can I pet your dog? Can I touch him? Before you go and just touch someone's dog, okay? It's very important. I don't want you guys to get hurt, okay? Tie before walking or you might be tripped. So that's very important because you know how sometimes our shoes, our laces are too long. And if we don't tie them up, we can fall down. And we don't want you guys to hurt yourselves. We want you guys to be safe. That is why we tie your shoes when you are here at school with us. Or if you know how to tie your shoes if you're older. But for my kiddos, we help them tie their shoes. So if we see them something like that, their laces are really long, we'll tie their shoes up and make sure that they're okay so they don't trip, because we don't want that. We want our friends to be safe at all times. I know sometimes accidents happen, but that's why it's important to say, Miss Tiffany, my shoelace is undone. Can you tie it for me, please? You use your manners, and I will definitely help you. I love helping my friends. Ride with a helmet, or you might get lumps, or you might bump your head. That's why I was telling you guys it's very important when you're riding a bike or a scooter to wear a helmet. Remember, we talked about in one of the other books that construction workers, they wear the hats to keep their heads safe, because sometimes rocks and things might fall from the sky and they might hit them. So you need to make sure you're wearing a helmet to protect your brain, because your brain is very important. So yep, wear helmets when you're out on your bike and your scooters. Buckle your seatbelt, or you might get bumped. It's very important when you're in a car to wear a seatbelt. Whether you're in a car seat, you need to have a seatbelt. It is very important, and it's also the law. You need to make sure you are wearing your seatbelt when you are in a car, okay? Or some buses as well have the seatbelts. Make sure you're wearing your seatbelt. It's very important. Always be safe. Always be safe. Right now, it's hot. Everyone has a pool. Make sure you have on your floaties when you're in the pool. You gotta be safe. We just want you to be safe. Yesterday, my son went to the swimming pool, and I made sure he had on little floaties to make sure he was safe. You know, when you're in the water, you need to have on floaties. It's very important. So, always be safe in whatever you do. So, when you're doing things like this, I don't know, I would find out from mommies and daddies if this is okay to do, like stuff like this. But you gotta be very careful so you don't bump your head or hurt yourself or hurt your leg. You need to make sure you are being safe when you do these things, okay, you guys? Nothing is quite as important as you. And of course, you guys are very important to us teachers, to your mommies and daddies, to your parents. They love you so much, so they want you to be safe. So what are some ways you can be safe? Remember, the book talked about putting on our seatbelt. Make sure we have a seatbelt on when we're in a car, when we're on a bus. They have things on our car seats. Make sure we have our seatbelt on. When we're riding a bike, when we're on a scooter, we need to make sure we're wearing a helmet. It talked about when you go to the store, you wash your fruit before you eat it, because some fruits have dirt. So we got to make sure our food is clean. We talked about climbing a tree. When you climb a tree, you use both hands. You make sure that you have your parent close to you. You don't just go climb a tree by yourself. You need to be with a parent. Also, in the book, we talked about asking to taste something. You ask for permission before anybody gives you anything. Oh, Miss Tiffany, can I have some of this? Oh, let me see what it is. Okay, sure, you can have that, because we want to make sure you're not allergic to anything, you know? You need to ask for permission before you taste anything. And that's what also we have friends who, you know, if you find some food fall on the floor, you don't eat it. You put it in the trash can, because that has dirt on it and it's not safe for you to eat. I know sometimes that happens at school, but that's okay. You know, that's what we tell our friends. You pick up your trash and you throw it away. If food falls on the floor, you do not eat it. It is not okay. There's germs all over the place, okay? Also, you know, make sure when we see an animal or a pet that's out on the road, we ask for permission to touch it. Can I touch your dog? And if that person says yes, then you go ahead and you touch that dog. You just don't go and pet somebody, because that dog can bite you because he's afraid. He's like, why is this person touching me? Why is this friend touching me? We need to make sure we ask for permission at all times, okay? And then when something is wet, you need to make sure you touch something. Make sure, oh, is that wet? Or, you know, you can ask Miss Tiffany, oh, does this chair have paint on it? Can you wipe it off? Because I don't want it to get on my clothes. You say something to us. You say something to your teacher. You say something to your mommy. If you see something that's wet, you say, Mommy, this is wet and I don't want it to get on my clothes. You know, you have to say something to us, okay? That's how we're going to know. So those are some ways we can always be safe, you guys. Till next time, I love you guys so much, okay? Have a great weekend, you guys.